Rule 1 of fight nights. Don't talk about fight nights. Rule 2 of fight nights. Don't talk about fight nights. Rule 3 of fight nights. Have fun and be yourself. Oh, were it only so simple. Now, see, I won't e'er deign to hide me abhorrence for the Hourglass. Going off to fight and die in someone else's war. Throwing myself and my crew at a problem for naught but someone else's glory, in hopes of one day maybe trading my curse for one what don't set me insides aflame. But when I hear word that there be an increase in rewards, well, a touch of the old pirate greed can tend to take over. Hence why I drag me crew, kicking and screaming mind ye, off to the fight. Come on, lads, let's go. In and out, 20-minute adventure.
Incoming!
We need to get them off of their guns. Squash, ye go below and bail what you can.
Aye!
Ah, blast it all. Can't hit a damn thing with these waves.
I can't hold them off alone here! Help!
Come on, mateys, we can turn this around. We just need to... God. Damn it. Needless to say, we weren't off to what you might call an, awe-inspiring start. But we weren't about to let that break our morale, no siree. We'd pick ourselves up by our own bootstraps and get right on back to the fight. Nose, meat, grindstone. Please tell me you both see that unearthly glow back there too, aye?
Aye!
Aye. Well, glad it ain't just me. You know, some might call it an issue of skill, and I suppose there be some merit to that accusation. But there just be something about fights and the Hourglass I simply can't seem to abide. Perhaps it just ain't as rewarding as I'd like. This slow, unyielding grind where the only thanks you get for winning a fight be another fight, lest you decide to go and turn in early, in which case your reward be the equivalent of a pat on the back. Gold be nice, but constantly earning naught but the bare minimum allegiance be disheartening. Especially when I ain't even hit the point where I hear it becomes really long-winded. Suppose it wouldn't be quite so bad if in there were any sort of variety to speak of, but nay, like Sisyphus pushing the boulder, Hourglass be damnation to the same blight of a task for all eternity. Constantly striving for a goal, always out of reach. The crew weren't none too pleased with our streak of losses. Nor were I, for that matter, but, you know, there be an old saying what spurred me on to keep that fighting spirit, regardless of the crew's protests. When the going gets bad, the goers get good. We'd had our fill of losses, the bitter taste of which still lingered, leaving us wanting for the sweetness of victory to grace our tongues. And we'd have it, come hell or high water. 'Twere only then I realized the problem we'd had afore. In our efforts to merely stay afloat, we fought too defensively, struggling to patch a ceaseless barrage of holes, leaving our foes open to keep pounding our hull, while we were too occupied to retaliate. Well, no longer. Squash and stretch let roar the ship's guns, and to great effect. And when Stretch went to show those blasted lot what for, I were there to keep the pressure, until finally the blackguards vanished neath the waves. But we wouldn't stop there, no. We'd a quota to meet, and a new resolve to meet it. And so we went on the war path, cutting down our next opponents by moonlight, ending the battle before ever it had a chance to begin. And if it seems I'd be skimming past the meat of this fight, I assure ye, it weren't much longer than it took for me to say this than it were to sink the scurvy dogs. We'd 2 battles won, and a grade 5 on yon emissary, meaning we could hit the outpost to at least ensure we get something approaching a decent payout. A decision what would prove wise come the next fight. Aye, we'd racked a pair of wins, but we couldn't afford to be getting quite so cocky as perhaps we felt. I'll be the first to admit, I underestimated this lot, which perhaps were a touch silly given the assortment of crates littering their top deck, but grant me some leeway, eh? God forbid a can have some faith in his crew, however misplaced it may be. Oh, hey, look, a big weird glow is back. Neat. Lucky us, our next foes weren't near to the same caliber. Invaded our waters while we prepared at Port Marrick. Needless to say, the siege were put to a quick and decisive end, earning us our rewards for the Guardians, and allowing us to swap our allegiance to the servants of the flame. As it happens, our time serving under the Pirate Lord's colours were not but a well-needed warm-up. Our fights for old Bone Daddy were of a far more savage nature. Longer, more taxing. Volley after volley of cannon fire, mutual failed boarding attempts, and yet both crews were just too stubborn to die. Oh, I swear to God I despise that harpoon gun. Alright, let's go. Round and round the mulberry bush, the monkey chased the weasel. The monkey thought 'twas all in good fun. Pop goes the weasel. We faced our fair share of tough spots. And had to contend with that blasted harpoon gun some more. But a successful bard taught me one thing about this crew. If Stretch and I could both successfully make it a bard, it'd be curtains for them. See, there weren't naught but one good fighter between the 3 of them, that being the fellow with the Athena's blessing. So, if we could get the upper hand over their vessel, I assume they'd have not a chance to be doing much. And to be fair, I were right, just, not perhaps in the way I thought. Keep on the guns, lads! I'll head over and... Oh my God, they just harpoon Stretch. In the end, turns out it were curtains for them indeed. The bird brain man in the harpoon failed to account for the water they'd taken on, leaving us free to fight another day. The next fight weren't nearly so demanding, at least not in terms of performance. Could tell as much from first board. No, the thing what made this fight worth any note at all be our, resource constraints. We were fresh off the heels of our last fight, leaving us at a deficit for things such as, say, cannonballs. But just because we were running low on munitions, didn't mean we were running low on options. How kind of the neighbors to let us borrow these in our time of need. And so hospitable about it, too. Oh, that be a mermaid I hear. I'll clear out before those uninvited house guests show up to crash the party. I hear you swimming, you blackguard. Stretch! Ready to harpoons! We got company, lad! With our ammo crisis solved, the fight were as good as over. All it took were one last board for me to hit the anchor, and their ship would move no further, any way but down. You know, I didn't mean to pop the bone collar, but it certainly didn't hurt. I mean, didn't hurt me. Probably hurt them a fair bit in their last moments before they sunk. With two foes bested, we traded in our hourglass value, stocked up on supplies, and dove for our next fight, still riding the high of our accumulated victories. Little did we know this would be our hardest fight. A battle against ourselves? Oh, if only. No, the most threatening part of this crew be their captain's loud mouth. But their bark were far more than their bites, and even that weren't exactly all too compelling. Especially not when they spent the lion's share of the battle fleeing. Doubly so when we were able to outmaneuver them over at yon portal stones. They sunk there on them rocks, taunting us to their own bitter end in some futile hope to get a rise out of us.
Hey, thought he could take the board. What'd he miss? Hey, he's still trying to swim.
Ooh, that's embarrassing.
To use their own words, embarrassing. That made 3 wins for the servants to complement our 3 for the guardians, earning us all a match in painting to go with the first. With blood on our hands and cheer in our hearts, we made sail to the Reaper's hideout to turn in, perfectly content with our victories. 6 wins to 4 losses ain't a half bad hourglass ratio for this crew. Now please, never make us do it again. That be all I have for you this time, me hearties. But feel free to share comments of your own tales of triumphant victory or crushing defeat. Wind in your sails until we should meet again.